Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm really happy that you're here again. There's a topic that's been sitting with me lately, the idea of simulation. Not because I believe someone is sitting behind a monitor and controlling my life, but because every now and then we all feel that something in reality doesn't fully add up. And when we are in that state, it's easy to grab onto any explanation that crosses our path. And yeah, that's how I ended up reading about the Fibonacci sequence. Not as a proof, not as a secret code, just as a pattern that keeps appearing in the natural world. As I see a lot of people online say, the Fibonacci sequence is a proof we are living in a simulation. I don't see it in that way. What interests me is why it shows up so often and why we humans start creating theories where sometimes there isn't even a real question. In plants, the Fibonacci pattern isn't mystical, it isn't divine, it isn't programmed, it's just optimization, evolution. The way for petals and seeds to arrange themselves so they can capture as much light as possible. What works survives, and that's it. I took some photos of flowers, not to prove anything, not to make a scientific statement. It's more like a visual research, curiosity, a small meeting between photography, mathematics and evolution. I'm not going to talk about the photos themselves. They are just tools. The interesting part is why I even wanted to photograph this in the first place. Maybe because there's a part of me that wants things to make sense. A structure, a reason, something that explains our place in all of this. The simulation idea for me is a belief system. People don't get into it because of evidence, but because we want to feel important. We want to believe our existence was planned, that we are designed, that we are part of a bigger architecture. But maybe the truth is more simple. We are not particularly important. We just exist. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I imagine, what if it turned out the real world is a simulation? Honestly, nothing. Physics would still work, as we know. Light would still bend the same way, the flowers would still grow the same way, and we, people, would still search for ourselves. Maybe there would be a chaos for a time, but then everything would settle again, just like after every crisis. The biggest trap that we don't feel grounded. So we start creating theories around ourselves. And some of them don't move us forward. They just keep us stuck. So it would be enough sometimes to accept the simplest explanation. We exist. And existence already has a meaning. Everything else is just there to soften the fear of the unknown. Fibonacci sequence isn't a proof of anything. It's not a message, not a signal, not a code. It's just the trace of an optimal system, the logic of nature. And maybe our job isn't to decode the world, but to avoid losing our place in it. Thanks for being here. See you in the next week. Bye bye.